While we're waiting, Buffy.
I was interested to find out if you're going to show us how they got the dragon into the cavern for the 20 years.
Yeah, he's the size of a jetliner, and I have no idea. We delicately glossed over that one. I think when we created the dragon, we wanted him to look impressive and big, and we spent the next 2 series trying to cope with that.
There's a secret entrance.
In the legend of Merlin, he's born old and youthens. How have you, obviously you're not presenting it in that manner. Or,
do what? Sorry, just the last bit.
I was asked how, that obviously you're not presenting it in that manner. Have you made any real, not even sure how to say it, in way of covering that up, basically? I mean, it's not even mentioned, but it's in the literature, it's mentioned many times.
The literature.
I think that, you know, when we started looking at Merlin and wanting to create a TV series out of it, we pulled on all of the stories. I mean, there's so many different theories and legends of Merlin. I mean, the Scottish say he's Scottish, the Welsh say he's Welsh, the Cornish say he's Cornish, the French say he's French. So there are lots of different schools of Merlin thought, and so we looked at all of them. We pull all the best bits out, and the bits that we don't want to deal with, we don't deal with them. So we take complete creative license and make our own rules up.
Oh, by the way, guys, when you're asking questions, hang out because the best 3 questions are getting prizes.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
There is a prize.
And you are all voting. Next up.
This is for Colin and Anthony. I wanted to know, you guys do an awful lot of running, jumping, stabbing sort of things. What's your favorite stunt that you've done thus far?
I really like the stuff where you're on wires, where they kind of harness you up, and the kind of wire goes up above your head, and some massive muscly guy yanks it, and you kind of go about 6 foot into the air and about 30 foot back into a foam wall, and look like you've really hurt yourself, but get up going, can I do it again?
And obviously at that point Julian and I say no because we're sort of having kittens behind the camera.
Yeah.
Damage Colin.
I'm actually doing that stunt this Tuesday when I arrive back for getting jet lagged, so that'll help me get over it.
That's actually not the filming, he just does it now as a hobby.
I mean, it doesn't do an awful lot of stunts. I guess two things in answer to that. One, that we get to ride the most beautiful horses in the world. They are stunning, stunning horses. And they are not, they're not your sort of your little, hacks that like to go out for a trot. They have their own minds, and they are feisty beasts, which is great. Which means you don't feel like you're just sat on top of it. I think that also gives Johnny and Julian kittens, especially when we're doing it on cobblestones without a hat on. But also it wasn't really a stunt, but I loved the fight, the sword fight that I had with Arthur in episode 8 of season 2 was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. Thank you. He beat me.
I have questions for Anthony. First, I just want to say you're one of my favorite actors of all time. I loved you on Buffy and Doctor Who.
Thank you.
I was wondering, what was your most emotionally challenging scene to film on the show?
They're sort of beginning to come thick and fast. As I say, as my past indiscretions are sort of catching me up. I am emotionally overwhelmed by a lot of it. There's some stuff that goes on in episode 1 of season 3, which I found quite challenging, because it was him at his most vulnerable and rawest. And I guess I have yet to see it to see if it works. But we'll see. But it was quite. I was quite exposed at times. And there was one thing. In fact, we went back for a reshoot because sort of looking at the cut, they needed a close shot of something which was covered in sort of wide shot. And we did it really late at night. We did it second unit, and I screamed and screamed and screamed, and I ended up being absolutely hoarse for the next week. But there you go. It's the pluses and negatives, and it's all in the game of it's fun. I mean, we get the best job in the world, the best job in the world. I love it. Really.
Hello?
Hello.
Sorry, I'm losing my voice. My question is for Colin.
You've been shouting for a long time in an emotional segment.
Yeah. How did the whole "you're the voice" thing get started?
Okay. Has anyone seen the film Hot Rod? Yeah. I was telling Bradley about it. I thought it was hilarious, and I was just talking about that moment in Hot Rod where that song "You're the Voice" comes up, and I was going, "What's that song?" You know, and he was going, "Yeah, I know that song." And it kicked off, and for literally the whole morning he started singing it, and then the whole crew were singing it, and then and then it sort of escalated, didn't it? So, but yeah, that's the origins of "You're the Voice."
And Bradley never sings on set.
Never.
Very shy and retiring.
Only that were true.
Hi, I'm Alicia. I was wondering, we all have our favorite parts of the show and favorite characters. What about you guys? What are your favorite scenes, episodes, characters?
Good.
Thinking time.
Oh, okay. Sarah Parish as the troll was pretty spectacular. She was cool, and it was very lot of kissing. It was very strange. It was like, because she had a lot of prosthetic on, it was like kissing a wetsuit. About 3 layers of a wetsuit, actually. It was odd, but strangely enjoyable.
21-hour day.
I mean, I think for me, my favourite character, I mean, again, you know, the troll is always, creating those characters is always fun, because Julian and I will sit in a room and have these really intense arguments about, you know, a troll, and what would a troll look like, and what would the fart sound like, and is that too wet, and should that be a bit firm? You know, then we're thinking we're grown men discussing troll farts, what are we doing? So there's great moments on this show where you have to kind of completely check the reality of the life that you live. So I think the trolls are always good fun, but I think, you know, having creating Merlin's dad, I think it was a sort of really satisfying moment for us, I think, in storytelling terms, just to be able to see another passionate side of Merlin. So I think for us really it's the extremes of, you know, one moment, you know, in the next series we've got a pixie, so we had equally ridiculous discussions of pixies, and Julian and I actually found ourselves having an argument about the qualities of pixie dust and what actually does pixie dust do, and we both disagreed vehemently for about a good couple of hours until we came to a compromise on what pixie dust should do. So I mean, I think there's that side. So yeah, it's great that we can play around and be utterly immature, which is always very satisfying.
Well, I go with that. I think the stuff with Merlin and his father is my favourite scene.
Yeah, I really like that episode as well. The Last Dragon, is one of the stories, and also John Lynch is an actor that I really admire, and he lives 20 minutes away from where I do in Northern Ireland, and you know, down the line that you know, this actor that you hear about from you were young, and then suddenly you're doing a scene with him. It's amazing. I also love Charles Dance as the witch finder. I thought he was fantastic.